I spy with my third eye 3 sonnets. I see a young man. I see an older poet. I see death, birth, rebirth, afterbirth. Someone named Bertha? No, that can't be right. I see my drink is almost empty and I'm going to need a refill. Oh, hello there. I seem to have caught me when I was having one of my visions. Let me clear up the scene for a moment. Begone. There we go. Let me get my notes together and my little drink poo down here. My little bottle over here. And straighten up my third eye. Well, here we are once again at the Shakey Sonnet Show. I am Tootight Lautrec, the drag laureate of the Sonnetarium, and here we are once again in the Sonnetarium at the bottom of the down staircase in the permanently sequestered remainders section of an unnamed local library, which may or may not have 2 lions peering out from the front steps into the future and the past, looking at all the wonders that are and were and will be in the future, as we delve into Sonnets 106, 107, and 108. So, John Kerrigan, who edited the Penguin Sonnets, which I will be using as my reference, John Kerrigan sees Sonnets 106, 107, 108, and 109 as a full set. I don't see 109 as belonging to this set, and also I feel that 3 sonnets is more than enough for one episode because I am still trying to keep these down below 20 minutes. I'm not always successful, but we'll give it another go today. These 3 sonnets, 106, 107, 108, are both forward-looking and backward-looking, as you will see. So let us not tarry. Sonnet 106. When in the chronicle of wasted time, I see descriptions of the fairest wights, and beauty making beautiful old rhyme in praise of ladies dead and lovely knights. Then, in the blazon of sweet beauty's best, of hand, of foot, of lip, of eye, of brow, I see their antique pen would have expressed even such a beauty as you master now. So all their praises are but prophecies of this our time, all you prefiguring. And for they looked but with divining eyes, they had not skill enough your worth to sing. For we, which now behold these present days, have eyes to wonder, but lack tongues to praise. Well, I will say right off the bat that I am a sucker for these sonnets that are structured such that the first words of the quatrains and the couplet are when, then, so, and for. They're beautifully constructed sonnets, and they're perfect little arguments, so that when we get to the for in the couplet, it feels like a true logical culmination of everything that's gone before, and not just a tacked-on little summary, as some of the sonnets are. So, first quatrain. When in the chronicle of wasted time, I see descriptions of the fairest wights. Wights is simply an archaic term for people, which is apropos to this poem because he's looking in the past. I see descriptions of the fairest people, and beauty making beautiful old rhyme in praise of ladies dead and lovely knights. So it's this very kind of odd construction where you see fair wights, fair people, dead ladies, and lovely knights. One would think that you'd see lovely ladies and dead knights, but perhaps we're getting a sense of the sort of slippers in which this poet dances around in. In summary, in old poetry, I see lots of descriptions of lots of lovely people, beautiful people. And then we get to the second sonnet. Then in the blazon, a blazon is a heraldic shield or a call of some sort. In the blazon of sweet beauty's best, of hand, of foot, of lip, of eye, of brow, I see their antique pen would have expressed even such a beauty as you master now. I see all these people talking about the most beautiful people that have ever been and ever will be. And it seems like they were talking about you, because who's lovelier than you, my dear one? The third quatrain. So all their praises are but prophecies. And here we are talking about seeing into the future. They were prophets seeing you. All their praises are but prophecies of this our time. All you prefiguring. All of those descriptions of beautiful people were prefiguring you. And for they looked but with divining eyes, or prophetic eyes, they had not skill enough your worth to sing. So even if they were describing you, they still weren't able to describe you sufficiently enough. They didn't quite get the mark because your beauty is just beyond any description. Now, originally in the 1609 quarto, line 12 was they had not still enough your worth to sing. And lots of editors, including Kerrigan, changed the still, S-T-I-L-L, to skill, S-K-I-L-L. But still works as well for me because it could mean as yet. They had not as yet enough your worth to sing. So I'm okay with still, in addition to the fact that in the OED, the spelling of still, S-T-I-L-L, was S-T-Y-L-E from the 14th century through the 16th century. And the S-T-Y-L-E is sort of a pun on stylus, which is pen, which reflects back on line 7, the antique pen that they were writing these for. So I'm okay with still. If you prefer skill, that's your thing. You go with it if you must. Kerrigan likes skill, I like still. So they couldn't describe you well enough as far as I'm concerned. And then we get to the couplet. For we, which now behold these present days, have eyes to wonder but lack tongues to praise. When we look at you here and now, we can only wonder at you. We don't even really have the language to really translate your beauty into words, even though I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. So here we have prophecies looking ahead to the future to try and actually looking into the back to people who are looking into the future to prophesy your beauty. And since we're talking about looking ahead, let's look ahead to Sonnet 107. And before I talk about 107, I will say one thing. Lots and lots and lots of ink has been spilled over this sonnet with all kinds of hullabaloo and falderall about hidden meanings that might be there, or events in history which might be talked about. But this concerns me not at all. These are all attempts, again, to date the sonnets. And once again, that isn't my project. So I don't give a fig about what it might be referring to historically, because it just doesn't really matter in terms of the full impact of the poem. Let's get into it. Sonnet 107. Not mine own fears, nor the prophetic soul of the wide world dreaming on things to come, can yet the lease of my true love control, supposed as a forfeit to a confined doom. The mortal moon hath her eclipse endured, and the sad augurs mock their own presage. Uncertainties now crown themselves assured, and peace proclaims olives of endless age. Now, with the drops of this most balmy time, my love looks fresh, and death to me subscribes, since, spite him, I'll live in this poor rhyme, while he insults o'er dull and speechless tribes. and thou in this shalt find thy monument when tyrants' crests and tombs of brass are spent. Okay, so the first quatrain, no matter what the prophets prophesy, in the end, we all die. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Not my no fears or the prophetic soul of the wide world dreaming on things to come. None of those prophets who are dreaming of all the things to come can yet the least of my true love control. They can't get their minds around the beauty of you and the depth of my love. Even though we're all going to die, they can't quite imagine it. They'll die too. Second quatrain. The mortal moon hath her eclipse. And here we get a series of 4 things that do happen. The moon eclipses, the sad augurs mock their own presage. So people say that things are going to happen and they end up happening. Uncertainties crown themselves assured. Things that they said would happen. And peace proclaims olives like an olive branch. So all the things that were going to happen or were prophesied to happen have happened, will happen, and it's all in the past. And by the way, all those poets are dead now too, so ha ha. We're here now, which is the third quatrain, with all the sirens going on all around us. We'll give them a moment to... Ooh, ooh, ooh. Be gone. You have no power here. Third quatrain. Now with the drops of this most balmy time, my love looks fresh. Right here, right now, you're here and now. You look adorable, as young and fresh as always. My love looks fresh, and death to me subscribes or submits. Death submits to me. Since, spite of him, I'll live in this poor rhyme while he insults or dull and speechless tribes. Death will kill everyone, but I'm writing poetry and it's going to survive. And guess what else will survive? My love for you. Couplet. And thou in this shalt find thy monument when tyrants' crests and tombs of brass are spent. My poem will be your monument. You'll be dead, but, you know, some people have crypts, you'll have the poem. To keep you in the eyes of the world, even after you're dead. So, one thing I will note, I mean, it's not a bad poem, it's a bit obscure, but, and if one wants to surmise about all the things that it may be talking about, it's certainly an interesting history lesson, and you can look at reams and reams and reams of material talking all about this. But one thing that I find about the language is that Booth points out something that I've never noticed, which is that Shakespeare, this is his quote, Shakespeare likes to rhyme and pun on pairs of 6th syllables. So for instance, in line 8, olive is the 5th and 6th syllable of line 8, and that rhymes with I'll live, which is the 5th and 6th syllable in line 11. So I've never noticed that before. I was quite appreciative that Booth pointed it out to me, and I'm going to try to look for it as I go forward. But I mean, 5th and 6th syllables, it's kind of hard to like keep your eye peeled for that as you're going along, but we'll give it a shot. Booth also says about this poem that, you know, it's all about prophecy, and he says, quote unquote, another characteristic of prophecies is specificity that fails to specify. And that's Sonnet 107 all over. It's a twisty, turny, tortured attempt to say something simple. Everything and everyone dies, and this sonnet is my only defense against all that for you and for me. And P.S. I love you. Our love is greater than all time. So we've heard this once or twice or 100 times before. So Sonnet 107, there's nothing new here, which leads us, in fact, directly to Sonnet 108. We'll both die, but written words, my poetry will keep you alive in the minds of my reader again. And all of this is couched in a holy, holy, holy sounding sonnet that might flirt a little bit with blasphemy, but let's go at it. Sonnet 108. What's in the brain that ink may character, which hath not figured to thee my true spirit? What's new to speak? What now to register that may express my love or thy dear merit? Nothing, sweet boy. But yet, like prayers divine, I must each day say o'er the very same, counting no old thing old, thou mine, I thine, even as when first I hallowed thy fair name, so that eternal love in love's fresh case weighs not the dust and injury of age, nor gives to necessary wrinkles place, but makes antiquity for aye his page. Finding the first conceit of love there bred, where time and outward form would show it dead. So, nothing new under the sun. What's in the brain that ink may character? Character, of course, are the letters of the alphabet. What is there that I can write that I haven't written before about your beauty, which hath not figured to thee my true spirit? The love that I have for you, what can I say? It's all been said before. What's new to speak? What's now to register? Some editors change that to new, but now is fine for me. That may express my love or thy dear merit. Nothing, dear boy. We have a gender. Sweet boy. Nothing, sweet boy. So here, I think, a continuation of the lover poet's ways. He's found a new boy. What's new to say? There's nothing new to say, sweet boy. I repeat my proclamations of love for you daily like a prayer. Just like a prayer. Your voice can take me there. Cue Madonna. But actually, that sentiment that I proclaim your love like a prayer daily is really quite a sweet sentiment. And it also apparently echoes the Song of Solomon, which says, my love is mine, and I am his, which feedeth among the lilies until the daybreak, which is really gorgeous. So I say my love for you like a prayer every day. There's nothing new under the sun. Hallowed be thy name. Hello, blasphemy. But it's okay. Third quatrain, so that eternal love in love's fresh case, or the habiliments of love, or the circumstances of love, so that eternal love in love's fresh case weighs not the dust and injury of age. You know, love is eternal. It doesn't find the wrinkles and the crinkles in the corners of one's eyes, nor gives to necessary wrinkles place, but makes antiquity for aye his page, or makes old age his servant. So old age has nothing on us, on eternal love, because eternal love, I might get old, you might get old, but I will make all time bend the knee in servitude to our love. That's what's going on here, and to my rhyme as well. And in the couplet, we get one of those tacked on repetitive summaries of what I've just said before. Finding the first conceit of love there bred, where time and outward form would show it dead. And P.S. Nothing new under the sun. Here we have the last two words of the couplet, the same last two words that were in Sonnet 104, except it was unbred and dead, with not as much impact, because the rhymes in this don't proceed in such a way that really packs that punch to bred and dead. But I do have to note that we've moved from simply praising the beauty of the beloved in 106 to the praise and adoration of the love that the poet feels for the beloved, or that they feel for one another, if they do feel it for one another, because again, we only have one side of the story. We still don't have the beloved's voice. And again, all you poets out there, I would love a 155 sonnet series that's the beloved and maybe a couple of other beloveds' responses to these particular poems. That would be wonderful. So, is there a gender? There is absolutely a gender. Sweet boy. Dramatically, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Tell me what you think. narratively, this still feels like a new love to me and not a renewal of the love that he had for the beloved in 1 through 103. My stance is that 104 marks the beginning of a new and different beloved, who also happens to be male. And part of the reason I believe that is I really just like the movement of a story in which the poet once dated this second lover or was acquainted with him, and after either dumping or being dumped by beloved number one, we'll call him, when things went all squanchwise there, he meets either the old flame or the old acquaintance and reignites, thinking, oh, well, you know, we had it good. And although the poet isn't saying anything really new, he seems a little bit more mature, let us say, perhaps a little wiser, even though he keeps saying the same things to the new beloved that he seems to have said to the old. Because, you know, once you got a line, you got to use it, no matter who comes along. So things look like they're going pretty well for our poet lover with his new boyfriend. All is right with the world. So where do we go from here? Well, we'll find out when we look at 109 next week. And until then, unwrinkle your brow and open your eyes, because I don't know if I've said it before, but the world is full of wonder. Pay attention. Until we meet again, I am Tootight Lautrec.